Good morning, day, or evening, whichever one you're in. Welcome to the Muslim Street. Happy to be here. My name is Art Mobley, and Malik Aziz is here with us. He's the producer of um, the Muslim Street, and also from Ghana. We're being produced from Ghana. Lance Scurv is back there in the motherland. So we got it all covered, all the bases, all time zones. We are here, we are with you, and we're glad that you could join us. And today we're going to be talking about a number of things that have happened recently in the news, but we are very concerned about what is going on in the land of the Middle East, as you call it. We call it Northeast Africa because we know what it is, and we got some corrective action that we would like for you to help us take as we try to straighten out this crazy world that we live in. How you doing, Malik?
Excellent. Couldn't be better. Man, it feels like I had a full day already. I'll be honest with you. The first prayer came in about Fajr prayer around 5:15. Washed, prayed, and then I met a business partner at this commercial property that we're looking at 6:45. Stayed with him for about 30 minutes. I was at the wellness center by 7:15.
Just so people know, you're in Florida.
Florida, exactly, East Coast. So 2-hour workout there. I did a 30-minute workout with dumbbells and weights on a vibrating floor. Now, this is very important. One of the things about the Muslim Street, you see Art looking so good, and Lance producing the show in Ghana. He look like a movie star. I want to look as good as them. So I got to work twice as hard. So I did a 30-minute workout on this vibrating floor. Now,
man, what you talking about? You look like the epitome. If there was a description of brother man ready in the dictionary, you see Malik smiling there.
So anyway, let me say about this vibrating floor, Art.
Vibrating floor, okay.
Low vibration, a full floor in a weight room. And let's say if you're doing 30-pound curls, the impact on the body is 60 pounds.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So the 30-minute workout there. Then I went to the red light therapy bed, 15 minutes there. Then I went into the hot and cold plunge. I got a 45-minute routine back and forth with that, a whole protocol. And next thing I know, it's like 9:15. And
time for the show.
Wait, I ain't finished. Then I came home. I got an infrared sauna sitting on my patio. That's just 3 people. I'm in there doing a HIIT workout for 45 minutes at 153 degrees, and that's infrared. And when I crawled out of there, man, I feel like I've had a whole week already.
There you go. And now it's showtime. One of the things we're going to talk about today is Zionism. We finally have a topic that is out in the open, and everyone can share with us their feelings and their understanding about Zionism. We're going to be inviting you to call and comment, and also text your information. We want you to be a participant here on the Muslim Street as we make this as interactive as we can. But the topic for today is there's no such thing as a what kind of Zionist did we say in the heading, Malik?
Good Zionist.
Huh?
No such thing as a good Zionist.
No such thing as a good Zionist. Got a couple of calls about that already, and people say, "What you mean? What you talking about, man? I've been in Mount Zion, yeah." But anyway, we are talking about the Zionists who are in Israel causing a lot of havoc because they want it their way. They want everything to be according to their vision, and it's a vision that is primarily in their own head. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. Chaos is a tactic. Chaos is a planned, strategic tactic. So when you see things that are developing in any culture that are confusing and difficult to understand, and there's all kind of conflict going on, that throws people into a state of confusion, not understanding what's going on. That is a tactic. That is a strategic plan. It is not by accident, and it is not something that's just naturally occurring. So Zionism, Zion, what we call the Zionization of cultures, is something that we really are going to hear a lot about in the next few weeks and months, but we're going to have to further define here on the Muslim street so that you understand. When we say Zionization, we're talking about a process becoming systematically more brutal through institutional, national systems of control and punishment. And we see this being spread around the world. We've seen what happened in Gaza. We know what's happening in the West Bank. We even see what's happening in southern Lebanon right now. But more importantly, we can go back to 1948 to the Nakba and forward to see a systematic effort to control that part of the world. What started as an effort to control that part of the world has ballooned into a major enterprise, and it is an American enterprise. So Zionism doesn't exist in a vacuum, and it doesn't exist by itself. It exists with the support and the complicity of the United States government and the U.S. system. They are constantly trying to separate the two. They say, oh, well, Israel's threatening to do this, or Israel's threatening to do that. Don't buy that stuff. That is America. There's nothing going on in Israel that the Congress, the Pentagon, those people in the U.S. who are meeting behind those closed doors don't know about. And they're usually directing it from Washington. So, in fact, they're always directing it from Washington. Israel does nothing without American American permission. Every bomb, every bullet, every missile is paid for by your tax dollars in this country, and it is directed at whomever they consider their enemy of the week. The enemy du jour is going to be at the bad end of that, but it is definitely an American enterprise. And the first thing I ask is that you not be fooled by this projection that Israel operates alone.
Yeah, very good point. And I just want to, we got some input from the audience. Abdul Rahman, who is a Palestinian out of Chicago, a revolutionary activist on this Palestinian issue. He sent a message on the Muslim street, and he said this. He said, with segments of both parties, and this is very critical, Art, with segments of both parties turning against the Zionists or Israel, some Zionists here are playing the good Zionists, and we are not like Netanyahu crowd, right? And this is very dangerous, and because these same people are still white supremacists.
Good cop, bad cop is what they're doing. Yeah, go ahead.
The same people like Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, these voices from the crowd, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we can add Candace Owens to that same breath. They still are white supremacists. Okay, at the end of the day, so they've literally and this is. And I think this is where Abdul Rahman was going on this issue. Now we see even as he writes further, even Rahm Emanuel, whom served in some function of the IDF, who was the former chief of staff of the Obama administration back in 2008. Obama sent him in 2010 to become mayor of Chicago, where he made a colossal mess. But even Rahm Emanuel, who is positioning himself to run for president in 2028, is now saying, and here's a guy that is affiliated with the IDF, said that came out and said that the United States should cut off free aid, to Israel. So what I think is dangerous, Art, and I'd like for you to jump in the audience, is that they're trying to make out Netanyahu to be like Hitler, or Donald Trump to be like Hitler, as if they're the problem. You stated very clearly the Nakba started in 1948. We know Zionism, going back to the late 1800s, developed as a strategic segment of white supremacy in Eastern Europe, right? This isn't Donald Trump's problem. Donald Trump is a white racist and a white supremacist, but it didn't start here. Bibi Netanyahu didn't start this. He was only 1 year old, not even 1 year old. He was born the same year as the Nakba, even though he later is raised in Philadelphia. So we don't want to. And here's why I say it's dangerous. We don't want to couch the problem being Netanyahu and Trump. The problem is anybody who supports the existence of the state of Israel. It's an illegal state from the beginning, and it needs to be removed.
Yeah, and no one wants to reckon with that. And it's a good point that you make about the good cop, bad cop. I mean, the good Zionists, bad Zionists, the ones who are, hand-wringing right now and saying, oh, this needs to stop, and we need to get out of Gaza, we need to get out of the West Bank, and we need to get back to the two-state solution. They're still wanting to legitimize the fact that they need to be there with, if not both feet in the door, one foot in the door. And that's what this two-state solution ideal represents. But the real challenge is that there should be a no-state solution, except for the restoration of Palestine as it was before 1948. That is the only just outcome of this. Israel does need to remove itself from that area. There should not be a state of Israel. That's Zionism, to say that there needs to be a state of Israel, but particularly doesn't need to be a state of Israel in that location. If you want to get a state of Israel, maybe we should get a 51st state here in the United States and call it, hey, the state of Israel. We got Arizona, we got New York, Florida, and we got Israel over here. If that would be a decision that can be made in Washington, and you can have a new treaty with the Native Americans here, and figure out how you want to co-locate. But you do not need to continue that state, and Iran is forcing the issue. And that is what we're going to talk about as we go forward in the show. So you listen to the Muslim Street, and this is the only place that you're going to find this kind of discussion. It comes from Black intellects. It comes from Black personalities, and we are not going to be left out of the international conversation. You notice how, you got the Turks, you got the Arabs. Everybody is commenting on everything under the sun. And we have a few Black voices. We got Joy Reid, and we got the roundhead brother. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about.
Who are you talking about? The roundhead brother?
Yeah. The only brother that looked like he just stepped off of Sesame Street, and he has now got his own show and podcast.
You talking about Van Jones?
No, I'm talking about the other roundhead brother, But anyway, leave it alone.
So many characters out there, and something I want to
Roland Martin. That's what I'm talking about.
Who?
Yeah, Roland.
Oh, Roland Martin. Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
There's just a few of us out there. It's so few we can't even remember them. They're not memorable. But the reason
take the Joy Reids and the Roland Martins of the world, gatekeepers, and as loud as Joy Reid sounds now, that since she got kicked off of MSNBC. She wasn't that loud when she was on MSNBC, other than some leftist stuff or some Obama stuff. She had a chance while she had that platform at MSNBC to challenge to challenge Madam Vice President on this Gaza issue, and she didn't. Roland Martin, Madam Vice President, paid him as she was running for the office in that last election. Paid him $300,000 for a 1 or 2 hour interview that he did on his podcast. He had a chance to challenge her on the issue of Gaza, and as the Democratic Party, DNC, did their autopsy on the election, it was clear what they said is their own autopsy. The Democrats, they came out and said Kamala Harris failed in that election because of Gaza.
Right, absolutely. And that's where people still don't make the connection. They don't believe that this issue was so much of an important issue that it even dates back to the last election that we had here. It's now becoming much more clear as a result of what happened with Zandami in New York the other night, and him being able to get other people elected, primarily because they are defying and denouncing monies from and support from AIPAC. So things are out on the table.
See, that goes back to what we talked about earlier, and what Abdul Rahman said, and that is, this can be a cannon fodder. It's popular now. It's chic to say free Palestine. It's chic to say no AIPAC money, right? Mm-hmm. Wesley Bell going up against the sister in Missouri, Cori Bush, was defeated 2 years ago by AIPAC money. Mm-hmm. This guy, Wesley Bell, is on Israel's payroll. He's a puppet, and he's black, right? They've sent millions of dollars to him. This election, he's going to lose this election, and I think that primary is in August. Keep an eye on that one, because once that domino falls, then it's clear, what's going to happen next.
Yeah. But when you talk about AIPAC money, everybody says, well, I'm not going to take AIPAC money. Okay, you're not going to take AIPAC money, But how much money has AIPAC expended that essentially came from the U.S. tax dollars? U.S. tax dollars are being paid to Israel. Israel is turning around, like we said before, accelerating that capital. And if you want to talk to me about that, we'll talk offline. But accelerating that capital and turning that capital back to the U.S. in the form of bribes, because that's all AIPAC is. It's a bribery organization, and it brings back the same money that they took from U.S. taxpayers and uses it to bribe the Congress. Your Congress people are being bribed with tax money that's been stolen and ciphered from you. How about a campaign to do this? I defy everybody in the country to shift the dialogue to something that would be more relevant. How about going beyond just, let's cut the AIPAC money, but let's do a reparations movement to cause Israel to pay back the $8 trillion that they've taken from the American taxpayer over the years, for the last several years. And let's see what they think about that particular prospect. They need to pay that money back. That money was stolen from the American taxpayer, and it certainly could be used for housing and for childcare and education and roads and the things that we missed out on in development in this country because those tax dollars were being shifted to Israel. Free housing for them, free education. I mean, they get free health care in Israel. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what leading Black politician is going to call out the star of the Democratic Party, the star since 2008, and that's Barack Obama, whom, oh, by the way, in October of 2016, on exit when he was lame duck, sent $30 billion to Israel.
Yeah.
Billion. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. $3 billion over 10 years, meaning that whoever's president, when Donald Trump, eats his last McDonald's and the extra order of fries. Whoever becomes president, they have to send that $3 billion to Israel. So I mean, who's going to call out the clowns inside of the Democratic Party? And you got one by the name of Hakeem Jeffries in New York. It wasn't even primary. He millions of dollars into AIPAC and brags about it and will gaslight anybody. The black minority leader of the House and will gaslight anybody who says, why are you taking that money from AIPAC? He's like, get out of here. I'm going to continue to take it. What are you talking about? And then he says he's talked to Mandani twice a week. Like it's no big deal. Corey sitting in his seat in the Senate, the leading black politician there, he's into AIPAC, millions of dollars. Okay, he's not going to move on this.
Yeah, they need to give it back. That money needs to come back. We need to start a movement to recover those ill-gotten gains. If it should be illegal for AIPAC to continue what they've been doing, then it was illegal what they've been doing over the last 30, 40, 50, 70 years. We need to recover from that situation, at least put that onus back on the state of Israel and the Zionists to refund that money back to the American taxpayer. And so if the white supremacists, the white nationalist movement want another plank in their cause to use to fight a real fight, then we invite you to join us here on the Muslim Street and call for that. We need to, again, have voices and have a say in what's going on from day to day. I mean, we got people talking about things that are going on in Black America, things that are going on in Africa. I hear Arab people speaking every day, essentially as though Black people are a silent party sitting at the table with tape on their mouth. You know, they don't really want to hear from us. If white supremacists, their main objective is to keep us out of the conversation, then our Chinese, Asian brothers and sisters, our Arab family needs to make every effort possible. In fact, they need to go out of their way to make sure Black African voices are heard and are at that table. They need to step in. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me digress, because I think in a few strategic places that is happening, but there's other places that it will never happen. And let's break this down. Let's go back to what happened in November of 1975. There was a UN resolution that said Zionism, and it passed. It said Zionism and racism. And it was drafted by the Arab coalition with Africa, along with the Soviet bloc. And it was successful. Of course, we know that Israel and the United States and South Africa, which was an apartheid state at the time, literally under apartheid at the time, voted to repeal it. Now, so that was a live coalition. A few weeks ago, we had down in Jackson, Mississippi, we had Imad Turk, along with an organization that's headed by Black Mississippians who are working with the Palestinians on a revolutionary movement down there. So that's happening. In a couple of weeks, we're working here at the Muslim Street to do a live presentation with Palestinians on the south side of Chicago, southwest side of Chicago, to further discuss, the issues that are important on both sides. So I think that the coalition is being built in some circles. Other circles, it'll never be built. For example, I don't think, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think there will be a coalition between Black Muslims and South Asians. The South Asians are here primarily to find themselves somewhere. South Asian Muslims, be they from Pakistan or India, are here in America to find themselves in a comfortable place of the white supremacist pecking order. They're not here for any kind of struggle with black people. All right,
Right.
and
But
so
they should see though that in doing in doing so and supporting African Americans, if they were smart, I'm talking about the smart ones. If they were smart, they would see their best path is to continue to ride in on the coattails and the back of African Americans. African Americans are the only population in this country, Native Americans included, who are protected constitutionally, who have a right to be here, but also have access to everything that this country should and has to offer, because we are the descendants of indigenous people and slaves. You can't get rid of us. You can't throw us out. So if you as a immigrant from anywhere else in the world, you don't understand that your entree to this country comes in the wake of African Americans, you are stupid. You know, I mean, I don't need to be more blunt than that, but come on, man.
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna push back just a little bit. I want to address something that I heard the other day from one of these YouTubers. And here's what I'm gonna digress.
Oh, no, YouTubers.
We very popular one, but YouTube nevertheless. Yeah, but here's what I'm going to push back. One is, where is the revolutionary movement inside of Black America that these immigrant groups that you spoke of, particularly Pakistani and South Asian Muslims, can attach themselves to? There's no revolutionary Black movement here. There's no revolutionary left here for them to that we're leading as Black people, for them to attach to at all. But what is evident is the Black petty bourgeoisie are winning. All right, they're winning inside of the Black struggle. And other two tidbits that I want to point out. One is back in 2004, the largest donors to the George Bush, and we know George Bush was a fascist, a racist, and a white supremacist. The largest donors to his campaign were two South Asian Muslim business people, a husband and a wife, millions of dollars to his campaign. The other thing I want to mention, if we look around the United States, wherever we find inside of the Muslim community, and be that Muslim community Black Muslim, be they belong to the Nation of Islam, Black Sunni Muslims, be they Pakistani, be they Arab, the whole cloth. What do we find the disruption vis-a-vis Palestine? We find it coming out of the South Asian community and these Pakistanis. And I'll call them out. If you want to come on the show and defend yourself, you're more than happy to do that. But I know what you've been up to the last 25 years. I watched you. Okay. But I would say you have a lady by the name of Soraya Dean, who is on the payroll of the Zionist. She's on the payroll of the Israeli government. And she cosplay a Pakistani Muslim. And she's lashing out at Palestinians. Oh, enough of this free Palestine is what she said. They gave a big speech about it. They fly her back with her little cohort back and forth to Tel Aviv and Jerusalem to kiss the wall. I mean, this is terrible, bro. But this is what's going on inside of this community. So to ask them to latch on to the historic Black struggle in this country, which in itself has two parts: one revolutionary part, and the other part is the assimilationist part, which is headed by the Black petty bourgeoisie. They ain't doing that.
Hey, look, brother. Though these people have the opportunity, if they take it, wonderful. If they don't, that's shame on them. They have the opportunity in Asia, and I'm talking about, take for example, the Chinese, the selling of TikTok. They were forced to spin off TikTok because the U.S. said, oh, well, China could be spying on Americans using this TikTok system. So therefore, your American counterpart to your TikTok International, not the whole company, but just TikTok in the United States, 73 million users in the United States. We need you to spin that off to an American company. Why couldn't China at that point step up and say, well, we want to spin it off to an African American company. We want to spin it off to a Black company. It's an American company. Let's spin it off to a Black company. They could have done that. China, that wouldn't have hurt China. How would it have hurt China to do that? But China tries to profess, we want to help Africans, we want to build ports, we want to build infrastructure, we want to help Black people. But when you really get a chance to do something that would empower Black people in this country, Xi Jinping and the rest of the Communist Party in China fails to take advantage of those opportunities in a substantive way. You can tell him I said so, but this is the kind of support that we could get from India, we could get from Pakistan, we could get from Saudi Arabia and Egypt and Turkey, but we're not hearing those things now from them. All they're talking about is efforts to back people who look like them. They've forgotten what Muammar Gaddafi did to make sure that North Africa was illustrative of the history of North Africa and that it included Black people heavily, as they have always been involved on the African continent. And we need to bring and force those kinds of issues back to the surface. The movement that you're talking about that possibly doesn't exist in this country only doesn't exist because it doesn't exist in the lexicon of the general media and the mainstream media. It exists. It's right under the surface in this country. I'm impressed every day at young people that I talk to who know stuff at 20 and 30 years old that, we didn't even have the chance of even comprehending, much less grasping it and understanding these concepts in our mind. And they are empowered to do something with that, but it just needs to be directed a little bit and move forward.
So, 28, speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. The 20-year-old Malik Aziz sitting on a college campus and running circles around these people. But anyway, that's another question.
19-year-old Art Mobley was right there with you. I understand. I was just
at 19, walking down the street kicking ass.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, listen, Art, I left out one point that I said I was going to come back to, and that was one of these YouTubers. Just the other day, and I'd like for you to respond to that because I think it's in the context of what we're talking about. Dr. Umar Johnson, who was one of these YouTubers who've been facilitated and has hit the algorithm of the white man so that he lets him out there, right? Because if you was saying something, then they just turn the switch. You understand what I'm going? Right. So anyway, he comes out the other day and he said, "I'm down with these Palestinians, and we're always supporting the Palestinian struggle. Why aren't they supporting ours? They didn't. Where are their voices on Carmelo Anthony? Where are their voices on?" I was like, bro.
Well, we're getting some of those comments at the bottom of the screen there, brother. They're saying Asians don't shop with us. Why should we do this and that? Just because people don't do what they're supposed to do, where we are concerned from the standpoint of historically what's happened and what's moved our movements forward, doesn't mean that we should not guide that from them to be, in fact, an active part of what they do. They need to participate with us as they used to and have done so in the past, whether we're talking Latinos or
here's my point about Dr. Umar saying what he said. And making false equivalents to struggle. We had literally a genocide in 4K. And you're talking about Carmelo Anthony in a high school fight. It's not a comparison, bro. And the second thing is, and this is what I want you to respond to. Historically, the Black liberation struggle, has been intertwined with the Palestinian struggle against the Zionists. Right. This is a worldwide issue, Dr. Umar. It's not the high school class down in Texas because somebody got stabbed. This is in 4K, bro. Now, the point I'm making here is Malcolm stood up for the Palestinians. Kwame Ture, formerly known as Stokely Carmichael, stood up for the Palestinians. Minister Louis Farrakhan stood up for the Palestinians. And the Nation of Islam, Dr. Conrad Worrell stood up for the Palestinians. I can go on and on and on and on. So these are our scholars. These are revolutionary scholars, our warrior scholars who actually built organizations on the ground, as opposed to over the white man's algorithm, which is no different that if we transport this back prior to the internet, any time that the white man let anybody on the air, it was because they sponsored them. All right. And that's the challenge of people who want to listen to people like Dr. Umar. Just wake up in the morning so you can feed his algorithm and he can get his little change and all that stuff, Yeah.
Well, Dr. Umar has a lot of great things to say theoretically. He has a lot of wonderful concepts that he is pushing. Of course, we all find that some of us fall short of everyone else's expectations. But I kind of take a policy of I'm not going to criticize no black people until we are free enough to have a conversation among ourselves and within ourselves about what we need to do and where we need to go. We need to do that behind closed doors. We need to do that. That is an internal conversation. For me, it's an internal conversation. I see you shaking your head. I understand.
The reason I'm shaking my head are these are facsimile leaders. Okay, they have no organization. They have no revolutionary front on the ground. They meet with no one. All they do is pick up this little iPhone, Samsung, and talk shit
and pronounce. Yes.
All right. At the end of them talking shit, make sure you cash at me. Okay. This is what's going on. This is not a revolution. When you and I were coming up, when Malcolm was coming, we were organizing on the ground. Dr. Shaka, National Black United Front.
Yep. And we didn't have the internet to fall back on,
Emeritus at San Francisco State University, also the author of what I think is the seminal work on Malcolm X, Political Legacy of Malcolm X, written in 1983. He literally wrote volumes of books on block-to-block organizing. And we're just going to ignore all of this research?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Because the white man says, I'm going to send you Dr. Umar. I'm going to send you Mark Kett and tell you who to listen to. They can keep
send you Van Jones, and we're gonna pay Joy Reid, and I understand, but I'm just saying that we spend so much time fighting each other that we forget that our fight is against the white supremacists, and our real objective should be the Zionists and the supremacists who are really causing us the problems. They're the ones who are empowered to really inflict maximum pain on black people. Yeah, they got some voices out there, but there's a peanut gallery, and I understand that.
It's designed giving them the platform, bro.
You're right. And again, and somebody had commented that the Saudis could have bought TikTok, and it was I missed the comment. I didn't note who it was from, but the Saudis buying TikTok would not have been much different from the Zionists buying TikTok, for that matter. So I'm just saying, and that's where it wound up. Yes, this was directed. TikTok was directed back to the Zionist control for where TikTok eventually landed. I'm saying, why didn't it go to an African-American company that could have been empowered then to use that platform, since probably a significant part of the buildup of TikTok was enhanced by Black participation? White supremacists own BET now. Yeah, they bought BET. Bob Johnson's a person that I know, and is considered to be a friend. We've just been co-investors in projects, but they bought it out because too much of that stock went out the door, and all you need to do is aggregate the stock in some other party, and then that party's bought out, and then you got different ownership.
I find it interesting that the caller in the audience said, "Why didn't the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia buy TikTok?" The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is in bed with the United States. They own 35% of the stock
and
market.
the Zionists.
They own 35% of the U.S. stock market.
Yeah.
They got over $1 trillion of investment here in the framework and bonds and other specific breakdowns and semiconductor firms and everything else. It was the Saudis who along with the Qatarians, the Emiratis, along with in Bahrain, which had the Fifth Fleet, who were housing United States military compounds that Iran hit and broke all that stuff down. They thought, as a group, that the Americans would protect them from what?
From now they know. Now they know. Now they know, and they've got a chance. They know they can.
With them. Oh, America, please protect us from this Shia, the big bad Iranian. They're gonna get their brothers in some of their brothers in Iraq whom are Shia too, and they're gonna come against us, and they're gonna take back, and they're gonna restart the caliphate. Oh, we don't, please stop them from doing that. We got a good relationship with you, massa.
Yeah, well, they got a
caliphate. Unless the white man says so.
Yep. The caliphate that doesn't attack Zionism,
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Doesn't lift a finger. That should tell everybody what the caliphate is being financed by. Again, you listen to the Muslim Street, and I'm Art Mobley, and Malik Aziz is here with me. He is the producer of this program, the founder of this program. Lance Curve is producing the show at another level from Accra, Ghana right now, doing an excellent job. We really appreciate that, brother. And I want to, make sure that people understand that, this program is not sponsored or funded by any particular company or, advertiser, but we sure could use your help to continue to make this work. And Lance Curve can put up some information that will give us some ability to help fund this program, and we'll try and get that in before the program goes off. But I want to make sure that we do that. And I tell you what, I've got a bunch of these hats. I'm gonna hold on a second. And if you donate $25 or more to the Muslim Street, I'm gonna get you. Is this cool or what? This is a Pashtun hat. Let's see. Let me get it on the camera here.
Nice.
Should I put it on my head?
Yeah, man. That's nice, bro. I want one.
Is that nice? Do you want that, Malik?
I want one, bro. I wear it around Chicago. I swear I would.
Yes. We'll get Malik one, and we'll get you one too. Anybody that contributes $25 or more to the Muslim Street will get this official Pashtun hat. We got a box of them. We got a box of them in the other day, man. I'll hook you up. But yeah, we can get you, and we also have multicolored. We got tan, and we got gray, and
I want a tan one.
You want a tan one? You think a tan one would work? Yeah, the black one.
One of the comments that came across the screen from the audience, and I saw this a couple weeks ago from the same guy, that I want to correct, and that is in the war between Iraq and Iran. That's when Saddam Hussein was in power. He mistakenly wrote across the bridge here that it was the Iranians who attacked. No. Whoa. It was who attacked first was the Iraqis, who were backed by the United States government. They had a CIA plant there who they put in power, and that was Saddam Hussein and the Ba'ath Party. Go do your research before you say stuff like that. And we're not here to take on the Muslim Street take sides or create these false narratives about some Shia, Sunni conspiracy fight or whatever. I'm a historian. I literally have letters. And then I'm a scholar on the issue of the history of Islam. And I've talked about on this show, Art, and tried to explain it in the context of why we see the present day formation of the Sunnis and why they capitulate with the West and Israel. It's a reason for that. It's a historical reason for that. And it's a reason why Iran, and it's a reason why we see Hezbollah, who is Shia, the Houthis, who are Shia, okay? It's a reason why we see the Iranians, who are Shia, rising up against the West and against Israel. And I went over in the historical context a couple of times. I'll say it one more time here and probably send you down the road of the research. But please do the research. And it has to do with one question, but it's a 2-hour lecture. And that question is, after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, over 1,400 years ago, the question arose of one question, that is, who should rule? And there was a big fitna amongst the Muslims that went straight through the Khalifa Rashidin, the 4 rightly guided ones, into the history of Islam. And there's always been this struggle. The Sunnis won out. Akla Sunnah wal Jamaat.
Yeah.
2 others who were fighting for initially in that big fitna over this question of who should rule. One was the Shia, and the other were the Khawarij. And until you do a historical breakdown of that, that's the context. Mm. That's the motivation. Who should rule? We do see around the between the 3rd and 4th century of the Hijri calendar, the Muslim calendar art, where the Shia come to power. They built the University of Al-Azhar in Egypt under the Fatimiyya. The Fatimiyas were Shia. Okay? So, but that rule didn't last. Around 100 years. That's it. And we're talking over a span of 1,400 years. So, this guy, do you accept the 4 rightly guided Khalifa? Absolutely, I do. The Prophet ﷺ said this, that the Sunnah of my Sahaba is my Sunnah. End of the question. And let's go to.
And that same person just asked. He said you don't speak any Arabic, and is challenging you. And again, these points are irrelevant.
Yeah. Do you know
what you're saying? Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you know I've never been to Vancouver, Canada? So what are you talking about, bro?
You have zero access to traditional literature preserved in Arabic, as though you can't read Arabic or you have no ability to translate Arabic into something that could be understood. This is the kind of stuff that we need to stop. We need to stop trying to tear each other down.
Like, how many Sunnis? So this guy, he's like this Sunni and Shia. I'm not listening to this stuff.
Yeah, well, we invite everybody to listen and invite everybody to comment and be a part of what we're doing. We don't want you to troll us, but we understand. And yeah, this does look like the Mujahideen hat, but I call it a Pashtun hat because that's where it's from. It's Pashtun Willie, and that's where the origins of the hat are. And yeah, it was a lot of the Mujahideen were Pashtuns, and a lot of the Taliban, the students were also Pashtun as well. So but it's a nice hat. That's a bad style hat. I always liked that hat, and when first time I saw it, I said, "That's a cool hat. I'm gonna have to get me one of those."
Yeah. So before we go to the final segment, and the point I was trying to make there is that Akhla Sunnah wal Jamaat, the Sunnis, won out in the initial big fitna. Okay, they defeated the Shia and they defeated the Khawarij. Now, as such, they, meaning the Sunnis, are interested in stability vis-a-vis non-Muslims.
Yeah,
and that shows today because they're Toms. We already went over Qatar. We already know why the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia would never go against America. The Emiratis. We see the play in Sudan there. Okay, we already went over this stuff. Now, Art, let's go back to something.
I have a question though. There's major conflict that is being exploited by the Western white supremacists, the Zionists, and others that want to continue to see dissension. And Sunni and Shia are the dividing point that they exploit, and they do so to a great degree. Do you see a time when Sunni and Shia will get together enough to leave that argument as a bedroom, kitchen argument that we can talk about later? Right now, we have to deal with the white supremacists, the Zionists, the capitalists, the crazies that are at our door right now.
Well, I think so, but the political reality, the real politic, is that the Shia who lost out are not interested in any kind of stability with the West. They will fight the West. They have fought them for centuries. Those who won out, Akla Sunna wal Jamaa, which is Qatar, which is the Emiratis, which is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, they want to play nice with the West because they want to hold on to the present structure of things. And the present structure of things, we can look at it in the late 1800s in Berlin in 1884, 1887, when the European colonialism came in. It came into the Middle East. They didn't even oppose it. Okay, but the Shia said no. We're not happy with this European rule over the Muslim.
But brother, the Iranians are Shia, and they're led by Shia clerics. They are the tip of the spear right now in this international battle and in this international so-called war. How do we get the Sunni? And how do the rest of us continue to rally to help their just position? And that position is just as it can be.
Yes, absolutely.
How do we get there?
Well, what happened when Israel and the United States a few months ago bombed Tehran and killed those little girls? You want and the reaction in the Sunni Muslim world, KSA, the Qatarians, the Bahrain, the Emiratis, etc. What did they do? What was their reaction?
Tell me.
Their reaction is they stood on the sidelines and applauded and gave military cover from those military bases to the Israelis and air support to the Israelis and the United States. That's exactly what they did.
Okay, so if they did that, are they going to pay for that? I mean, is that going to cost them?
You had a destroyed economy in Dubai. Their economy was based on tourism. The Iranians bombed that place. Ain't no tourists there. They selling it real cheap. Buy one get one. Okay.
But before we say that, because I know for a fact that the Iranians were not targeting the public and the citizens, the citizen sector of any of those countries. They were targeting U.S. military installations and bases in those countries.
And the economic infrastructure of Dubai, which is built on tourism.
Well, I haven't seen evidence of that.
Burj Khalifa. And then the Iranians, and then the Emiratis came out. Oh, please don't do it. And then Iranians, being good Muslims, said, okay.
Well, there's some questions.
That we will come, but the message has already been sent to the world that Dubai is no longer an investment.
Yeah, but it's not something that the Iranians are targeting. No. It is something that the Israelis and the Zionists and the Americans want to destroy, because all of that infrastructure, all of that economic system and establishment and infrastructure that you're talking about is a target of Israel. Israel wants to destroy all of that. Mm-hmm. So when you see a bomb go off in anything other than a military installation in Bahrain, Kuwait, UAE, any of the other sheikdoms there, you can bet money that that is instigated by Zionists in Israel, because it's in their interest to essentially destroy all of that, as they've destroyed Gaza, as they are destroying South Lebanon. And I know that we're running up against the last 5 minutes of the show, and we were going to talk about the Nation of Islam and the tremendous loss of Mother Khadijah. You want to share?
Yeah. So yesterday, the world was informed of the passing of the wife of Minister Louis Farrakhan, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, and we just wanted to, spend the last few minutes bearing witness to her great work over the years, alongside her husband, Minister Farrakhan, and Allah says in the Quran that I would never waste the work of a worker. And this is important that we recognize people as they transition from this life, and to know that their work wasn't in vain. We saw it with Akbar Muhammad, who passed away during the month of Ramadan. The Muslim Street paid homage to him. We had his daughter, Saouda Aziz, on for a great show. And as these great people whom put the foundation together for movements, organizations, Muslim life in this country, we don't want to ignore their presence as they pass through the transition. And here, in the case of Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, whom, oh, by the way, as we talk about family and the importance of Black family, they were married for 72 years. This is truly a lifetime. And again, we just want to recognize on the Muslim Street the past of Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, whom I personally met. I remember about 7 or 8 years ago, I had Akbar Muhammad down in sponsored a speech down in Florida, where to a packed house, and it was a speech on Malcolm's birthday, and he had met Malcolm back in 1962 in Harlem, New York. And I asked him, I said, instead of giving a political speech on Malcolm, why don't you give a personal speech on Malcolm? Tell us some things that nobody else knows. And man, he has some great stories. We're riding down the car one day, and he noticed that he said that Malcolm had a talk show on the radio in the car. He was in the car with him as one of his bodyguards. At the stoplight, he was reading a magazine. And then he was also had a brother feeding him information in his ear. I mean, 3 sources of information as they was going to a speech, man. So these were kind of personal stories. I did meet Mother Khadijah Farrakhan back in the early 80s. She's very personable, very kind-hearted. She built every Savior's Day. She built what was called a children's village. So all of the Muslims were coming in from out of town. They had some very important engagement with that children's village that she did. But I remember once I was on security posts at the Farrakhan's house. This is early 80s. And Sister Farrakhan came out, and she said to me, I'm in the driveway, I got the car with the other brother, and she said, why don't you run up to, it's a very famous Muslim fish place in Chicago. Anybody knows Chicago, in the Black community, we like fish, especially on Fridays, right? fried fish. It's some good stuff. So there was a famous place called Doc's on the south side of Chicago. Everybody knew about this place. Good stuff. So she asked me to go and get her some order of the Doc fish and this drink called a Doc Berry, which was world famous. It was like a shake or something, man. So she enjoyed that. Just a personal, you know, engagement. Sometimes people are larger than life, and but we also have to know that she was a mother. She was a grandmother. She was a great grandmother. She was a sister to the Muslim Girls Training General Civilization Course, the MGT, which is the sorority inside of the sister sorority inside of the Nation of Islam. She was literally raised up in that. So anyhow, just wanted to, as we close out the Muslim Street, thank you, Mother Khadija Farrakhan, for your service.
Absolutely. And they say behind every great man, there is a great woman, usually, but behind every exceptional man, there's also an exceptional woman. And absolutely, Mother Khadijah was and is and will always be that presence with all of us. Next week, we want to talk about what the Nation of Islam means in the bigger picture of Islam internationally. And I know that Minister Farrakhan had some great things to say about that several years ago. I remember hearing him talk on the subject, but I wanted to see if we can rekindle that conversation so that we can put these people, our family, the Nation of Islam in context with what is going on in Islam at large internationally.
Yeah, and perhaps we'll reach out to someone in Nation of Islam, come on and join us in that conversation. Again, you've been listening to the Muslim Street. I want to thank Art Mobley, founding member of the National Association of Black Journalists. Also, I am Malik Aziz. You can find us at www.themuslimstreet.com. For Lance Scurv, who are producing the show out of Ghana, we will see you next week. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.